take a step back into your childhood, where would it take you? Would it take you to your classroom, or would it take you to maybe memories from recess? Often we cherish our memories from elementary school, even if they are memories from friends chasing us around with gardener snakes. But what would you do if I told you that school boards have been taking away recess for elementary children? Would you be appalled? How does this really apply to you? Someday in the future, our own children might be in the public school system. And after all, we do pay for taxes, which do go towards public education. For myself, recess was one of my favorite times in elementary school, but also here at UNI, I'm studying elementary education. So that is very important for me to understand how children play. Although the importance of classroom behavior and education is crucial, the opportunity to grow and play is just as important. First, I will tell you about some problems that taking away recess would cause and what it is already causing. An alternative that we've seen around the world, and also I will tell you a little bit about my own story and why this is so important to me. First, recess is very important to children, and taking it away could have disastrous effects. There are many signs that are shown to, there are many outward and inward signs that taking away recess could cause. Two of the outward signs, the first one, is that Americans have lower test scores in recent decades. According to Lindsay Layton in 2013, America's test scores were stagnant compared to other countries. We came behind 19 other countries. Another problem is that the Iowa core is being changed according to the Gazette. While the Iowa core is an important thing, it also puts a lot of stress on schools and on teachers, and recess is taking the blame for it. Another problem is that children are already fighting healthy habits. According to the Center of Disease and Control and Prevention, over 1/3 of Americans are obese or overweight already. The loss of funding also causes loss of programs in safe places, according to Ashley Gutierrez. Also, children who have a poor socioeconomic background are also at a higher risk. Also, according to Gutierrez, children are required to have 60 minutes of physical play every day. With children already being in school for 6 to 7 hours per day, this standard is often failed to be met. These children have a higher risk for diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety, and depression. One of the more inward problems that affects children about not having recess is that they have a loss of social skills, according to the Importance of Social Skills article from Interactive Kids website. Gratifying relationships start at a young age, and learning language is very important. If a child fails to start having good social skills at a young age, it becomes harder as they get older to find relationships and easier as they get older. Equally important, it is important to see that other countries around the world have also different school systems and ones that work better. And then I'll finish that off with telling my own story. Japan sets a healthy example. According to Phi Delta Kappan, Japan's school system has a rigorous exercise system. Although they have less focus on the individual, they have 10-minute resets for their cognitive timer, which means that for every 40 to 50 minutes, they actually have the kids do physical exercise. They understand that doing this helps the children be able to focus more. And interestingly enough, the harder the class you take, the more structured recess time you have. And also in China, they have over 30 minutes for lunch, which is also another way to help social interaction. And they also have a designated rest time in which they take a break from the school day. When you compare this to the fast-paced society of the United States, you can see why having calmer students could have a better effect for test scores. And moving on to some other solutions. Recess can help in the future to fight life battles. According to Rebecca London, recess can promote a safe environment in which children can take risks. And this is where I'm going to bring in my visual aid. This is actually a PE activity book in which a PE teacher might use this to plan her lessons. And I just kind of marked a few things in here, but these ones are the more specific ones that a teacher would use to have the children do things more than just like physical activity. A lot of the activities in here are having the students design their own lesson, or the teacher might give them the background information and then let them make up their own activities. Recess can also be a good starting ground for future sports and can become an outlet, and that kind of ties into my own experience of why I feel sports is so integral. I grew up when I was 3 years old. My parents got divorced, and then going into middle school, both of my parents were remarried already. And so sports really became an outlet for me in high school for track and cross country. And I know for a fact that if I wouldn't have had that outlet, it would have been really hard for me to make it through high school. And I know I'm not the only person who's ever gone through something like that. Furthermore, there are many ways to solve this solution, but the simplest one is to keep recess in schools. I've informed you of the problem of teachers taking away recess and a few things that we could do to solve it, and also told you my own story. As an adult, you might find it hard to sit through a 1-hour lecture. So the next time you hear on the radio talks about education, don't turn out, and maybe give it a second thought.